Hey y'all, Phil here with High Tech Legion. Cell phones have become pretty much ubiquitous in our society, and if you have a smartphone, especially if you use a smartphone for business or entertainment, like I do, you're going to be connecting it to your computer on a fairly regular basis, probably a couple times a day, or you might even just leave it there to keep it charging. Unfortunately, when you turn your computer off, there goes power to the USB. So, in order to solve this problem, Cooler Master has implemented a new feature. This is their GX2 series of power supplies. These guys come with a USB connector that goes in between your motherboard and the front panel I/O in order to provide power to your USB ports while the computer is off. So that's great. If you want to charge your phone, you don't have to unplug it from your computer and plug it into a wall outlet. That's a nice feature. Now, most devices coming out are able to accept more than the USB 2.0 specification limit of 500 milliamp hours. I'm hoping this guy might be able to support that and provide maybe a full amp or whatever might be necessary, accepted by the devices. So let's open it up and take a look. Our close-up of the packaging for the GX2 power supply. You can see we have the USB single 12-volt rail, 5-year warranty, so this guy very well might last multiple computer builds before the warranty even runs out. And it is 80+ bronze certified, so you'll have about 85% efficiency on a 50% load. Taking a look on the side, we can see our power chart down here for the various voltage levels. And all the other goodies here, specifications and stuff. On the back, we have a list of the various connections that it comes with: main power, CPU, SATA, Molex, floppy, the USB connector, and GPU connectors. Now, open it up. We have a little instruction booklet. We have our power, the plug to the wall, and here we have the actual power supply itself. This is not modular, so we have a very large bundle of wires. Now let's take it out. See, we have on the top for ventilation, we have a large 120mm fan with lots of ventilation out the back. Let's open up this bundle to see exactly what we have. So here we have our 20+4 pin for the main power. Here we have one of our GPU power pins, connectors. On this one we have 3 SATA connectors. Now I have 3 Molex with 1 floppy. 3 more SATA connectors. The CPU power connector, so 2 8-pins on one line, single 12-volt rail. And last but not least, we have the USB connector. This end plugs into the motherboard, and there's tape over it here. This end is what you would plug your front USB connector into to provide power while the computer is off. Alright, well, I got the GX2 installed and benchmarked, and if you took a look at those voltage readings, really kind of disappointed with the performance. Idling at about 140 watts, we saw a voltage of about 12.17, which isn't bad. 50% voltage of 12.03, which is starting to get a little low. And then under about 95% load, the voltage was only 11.75, which is just, frankly, that's just kind of unacceptable for power supplies. You really don't want to see your voltage dropping below 12. Components usually can handle it, but at that point you're not getting the cleanest power, and you're probably going to start shortening the life of the components inside your computer. Aside from that, the other things are pretty okay. The USB here, the 5 volt while the power is off, works pretty good. You only get seems like you only get about the 500 milliamps specified by USB 2.0, which I can't complain about, because the fact that if you do more than that, you might wind up shorting out more sensitive devices. And then, obviously Cooler Master doesn't want to be replacing people's flash drives and stuff because they left them in while the computer is plugged in. I would have liked to have a little more length on the 24-pin connector, simply because, only just like 1 or 2 inches, and simply because routing behind the motherboard tray and then coming back up from the side, it was a pretty tight fit. I was not pleased by the limitations on the SATA connectors. If you look here, you can see that stacking hard drives right on top of each other. The wires are really kind of stuck close together. In order to close the back panel, not only were they really close together, I had to turn them to the side too, so there's potentially a lot of strain on the SATA connectors due to how large and how tight the shrink wrap there is. The sleeving on all the cables is pretty nice. It's well done. Now, in order to, it does say it's SLI ready. Now, in order to do that, it only comes with this for connecting up PCI Express devices. You can see it's only two 6+2 pin connectors, which can be a problem if you have trying to do multiple video cards and they both need more than one connector each. So in order to get SLI, chances are you're going to need some kind of an adapter to go from 4-pin Molex to 6-pin or 8-pin PCI Express power, which is what I had to do for my testing configuration. Unfortunately, that meant that the fan was also, the front case fan was also running off of this power. But otherwise, the power supply does have a couple issues, but for the most part, it's okay. But like I said, with the voltage, 11.75 volts when you're pulling over 500 watts, that really isn't acceptable when you're pulling that much power. So if you're not going to be pulling 500 watts, if you're going to keep your system only around, say, 300 to 350 watts most of the time, you should be fine on voltage. But I would not recommend this for going beyond 500 watts, or really beyond 400 watts. Guys, once again, I'm Phil with High Tech Legion. This has been our review of Cooler Master's GXII 550 watt power supply. Unfortunately, with the little deficits that I had, I can only really give this guy our High Tech Legion Bronze Award. Again, voltage is really important. A good voltage is pretty important for running a steady computer. So if you like our videos, please be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Also follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and drop by our website, www.hightechlegion.com. See us, say hi on our forums, and we'll be sure to respond, and it's usually a pretty good community to hang out with sometimes. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.